the hell is wrong with you?
From the quests and hats in Final Fantasy XV and the Cup Noodle themed songs in Project Sakai, Nissan has made collaborations with various properties over the years in order to advertise Cup Noodle. However, no one could have expected this newest collaboration.
On September 5th, a new collab was teased with the only clues being the silhouette of hair, and the tweet saying, "Finally, Cup Noodle and the National Grade Schooler." While a lot of people hoped for a Detective Conan collab, the hairstyle didn't match, and some Japanese boomers realized that it was someone else with the hairstyle, ChargeMan Ken.
ChargeMan Ken!
ChargeMan Ken, for the uninitiated, is a famously terrible anime that has lines such as and comedic instances such as this. The anime has a sort of cult hit status, but it's still generally unknown. But Cup Noodle finally released an ad on September 11th confirming the collab by parodying one of the ChargeMan Ken episodes.
いつものカップヌに魔改造を施した背徳的なカップヌでラインナップは全よし。まずは人気の元の次に明太チーズとソースの海鮮。
And I bought $50 worth of ramen.
Welcome to Necro News, the show where we cover the hottest gaming news from the last week. This week we'll be covering how greedy Nintendo has become, Atari's shocking comeback, Hellraiser info, and more. So be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want more. The Nintendo vs. Pocket Pair lawsuit has been going on for nearly a year now, and while we previously covered how Nintendo was filing patents in order to try and gain a legal advantage back in February, this hasn't resulted in any significant changes for Nintendo's legal battle, as only one of the 23 patents had filed was approved.
That hasn't deterred Nintendo in trying to patent Pokemon mechanics, as 2 new patents have been granted to Nintendo. The first of which being this one, which was filed on September 2nd, and to make it easier for you, it means that Nintendo is saying it has the sole right to make games by which you can summon another character and make it fight a different one. Like all of these! What's worse is that it's just vague enough to go after anyone.
The second new patent became effective on September 9th and covers any mechanic which would allow you to ride any sort of creature to get over an obstacle, such as a horse, a bird to get into the sky, a fish to get across a river.
What the fuck is going on back there?
Or something that can climb cliffs. Unfortunately, the abstracts and demonstrations provided in the patent are vague enough to where Nintendo can be very selective on how to enforce it.
We're both in agreement that this is incredibly unjust, but hopefully with Digimon Time Strangers coming out, Bandai Namco can come along and fuck them right up. But we'll have to see. Also, upon recording this, I realized that this potentially means that Nintendo could go after Hello Games for No Man's Sky. I hope that will never happen, but now that the possibility is there, I am very sad for gaming as a whole.
Yes, because it's not just No Man's Sky, it's a lot of other games. And as many boomers have pointed out, this also accounts for any necromancer or summoning classes. So yeah, this is a very big problem in gaming right now. And I was never a huge Nintendo or Pokemon fan to begin with, but for anyone who was, let us know what you think in the comments down below about these patents.
Patent drama aside, Nintendo has finally decided to do a full-blown direct last week on September 12th, which was likely to answer the question on if the Switch 2 would be getting any new games for the holiday season. Well, here are all the things Nintendo announced which are the most notable to us. There's Mario Galaxy 1+2 Remake, which is also going to coincide with the second Mario movie being revealed as the Mario Galaxy movie. No word on if Rosalina will actually be there though. However, both Mario Galaxy 1+2 will be $70. And I'd like to remind you all that you could just play the originals. They're not that old.
There'll also be a new Mario Tennis game, Mario Tennis Fever, which is expected to release February 12th, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, a puzzle platformer expected to release next spring, and most but not all of the Virtual Boys library will be coming to the NSO. No Waterworld though, sorry Booster.
That's fine. given that you have to also pay $99 for an accessory or pay $25 for a cheap cardboard version just to play these games that you've already paid for. I'm not surprised that they can't do anything right. Anyway, Metroid Prime 4 now has a release date of December 10th, and Samus now has a bike, despite running faster than a car. Whatever. On the Pokemon front, there was more information on the upcoming Pokemon ZA. It actually just looks like Palworld. But also Had to have a quick break here. My anger overtook me. There's also Pokemon Pokopia, which appears to be a game that looks exactly like Dragon Quest Builders. But Nintendo only comes up with innovative ideas that they would never steal from anyone else. Right? Anyway, you play as a Ditto who takes the face of their trainer, who was killed?
Died, presumably. There was also more information on Pokemon Legends ZA, which will have Day 1 DLC with the Mega Dimension, despite the DLC not being ready for play at time of purchase. And they also decided to log Mega Evolutions for the Kalos starters behind the NSO subscription.
Some expansions for other games have been revealed, such as DK Island and Emerald Rush mode for DK Bonanza, and a Switch 2 edition and expansion for Super Mario Wonder Meet Up in Bella Bell Park, which adds new levels and some additional content to the main game, and both DLCs are $20, which is coincidentally the price of Silksong, which is a much better game than anything Nintendo's put out.
And it was only made by 3 people.
Finally, Nintendo announced 2 surprising games. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, which appears to be a sequel to Three Houses, a game I thought did poorly, but I was very wrong. And surprisingly, Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly is getting remade for the Switch and Switch 2, which I never saw coming. But why aren't they remaking the first one?
As it stands, the only games exclusive to the Switch 2 coming out within the next year or so are Mario Tennis Fever, Kirby Air Riders, Splatoon Raiders, the Hyrule Warriors Tears of the Kingdom sequel, Pokopia. That game. And Fortune's Weave. So despite the patents, with the Nintendo Direct over, are you guys still planning on buying the Switch 2? Were you going to buy the Switch 2 and the patents made you rethink that? Let us know in the comments. But for some better news, the previously announced Hellraiser Revival game has been stated to be as intense as possible. This was originally stated in an interview with IGN on September 11th, with Willits quoted as saying, "We're going to go as far as we possibly can, as far as the people that make rules will let us go."
He also went on to say, "And I hope that we can make one version, but we are willing to go as far as we possibly can go. We want to be a responsible publisher developer, but we are going to push it as far as we possibly can in the context of the game and the movie." Which, if you know anything about Hellraiser, it's porn. So we're probably going to have another Agony situation on our hands where there's going to be an M-rated version and an AO-rated version. But we'll see.
How many times could he have possibly said, "We're going to go as far as we possibly can," in a single interview? For more good news, Acclaim, which died around 2004, is back, being resurrected by 4 founders, 2 of which is Alex Joseph, the former CEO of Graffiti Games, and AEW wrestler Jeff Jarrett, being among them. While the company was originally resurrected back in March, with their focus being on indie publishing and revitalizing their old backlog of games, nothing was formally announced until now.
On September 10th, the first Play Acclaim showcase happened, and with it, 9 new games were announced. They are as followed. Tossdown, a delivery game where you kill everything, or everything is out to kill you. Ground Zero Hero, a post-apocalyptic vampire survivor clone. Basketball Classics, a game which aims to mimic NES basketball games. Pixel Washer, a top-down cleaning game where you need to clean up the gunk around a city. The Prisoning, Fletcher's Quest, a Metroidvania with some roguelike elements. These do not sound great. Grid Beat, a cyberpunk dragon crawler with rhythm game elements. Never mind. That sounds cool. Halaka, a Brazilian-themed Metroidvania. Hyperyuki Snowboard Syndicate, which is Jet Set Radio meets SSX. And then Catanaut, a horror-themed Metroidvania roguelite. That's 2 of them. Oof.
As you can imagine, most of these games don't sound very catchy, but for a company that's been out of service for 20 years, to head out of the gate with 9 games is pretty impressive, especially since 2 of them, Catanaut and Basketball Classics, are currently out on PC.
The rest of these will be coming out at a future date. Hopefully, it'll be the revival of Acclaim as they were back in the 2000s. Hopefully, they'll revive some of the beloved IPs that we need back on this market. Because my god, gaming is grim right now.
Let's hope they don't infringe on Nintendo's new patents.
Here we go again! Dead Island 3 has been teased by developer Dambusters, the developers for Dead Island 2. The tease originally came from a Steam post on September 9th, celebrating the 14th anniversary of the series and reaching 20 million players on Dead Island 2.
But they didn't make a shitty over-the-top trailer. Instead, they opted to release a teaser image that implies that it might be set within the Southwest region again, possibly in Arizona. That's all we can go off of right now. Our editor also wanted us to point out that it's called Dead Island, but it's not even on an island anymore.
You can probably expect Dead Island 3 to come out with the next decade or two, judging by their last game, which took 12 years to make.
I don't think anyone expected Life is Strange to become the franchise that's become, but now it's getting an Amazon TV adaptation. What we know currently is that Charlie Covell will be the showrunner, and the show will be made alongside Square Enix Story Kitchen, which is a company that specializes in adapting video games to movies and TV, and production company Lucky Chap. Who hasn't been mentioned is Don't Nod, the original developers, as they haven't been brought on to the development of the TV series. Executive producer at Don't Nod, Luke Bagadust?
I don't know.
And writer for the original game, Christian Devine, have both commented on this, with Devine taking a negative stance, while Luke said it was an incredible honor.
As for how the series itself will turn out, it'll probably be safe to assume that it'll be faithful to the source material. But as someone who doesn't like that game at all, is that really a good thing?
Jesus, I shot myself! Back up! Gun?
This week's Buried Alive Gamer?
Me. It's me. I'm the buried alive gamer.
This week's Buried Alive Banger, a segment where we cover a game that our community doesn't think has had enough attention, is Ocean Keeper.
Full disclosure, we were given this game by the developers, and I originally wrote it off as the background on the PlayStation 5 store is AI art, which is never a good look. But then I started playing it, and 5 hours later I was still playing it, all the way through Ellie's stream. If you like Vampire Survivor type games and you like mining and just stress, play Ocean Keeper. It's surprisingly good and very difficult.
You say my streams are boring?
I don't want to hear it from you. When's the last time you sat through one of my streams?
That's fair.
And here are the games coming out this week. There are quite a lot of them, shockingly. Was not expecting it, but definitely check out Frostpunk 2 and Dying Light: The Beast.
And here's our streaming schedule for the week. On Tuesday, we'll be doing a short members only stream, and the rest of the week we'll be doing Liza P and Elden Ring, with a possible stream on Saturday.
And that's it for this week's Necro News. Thank you all so much for watching. If you made it this far into the video, leave a like and post a game controller, I guess. Sometimes I gotta just think of these beforehand.
And as always, a big shout out to all of our channel members. We really appreciate you guys supporting us. And if you'd like to join the members only stream on Tuesday or want other extra content, be sure to become a member.
That's all we have for you this week. So until next week,
Goodbye.
goodbye.